Well, good morning, everybody. I am here with Miss Carolyn Ashford, and we're going to start talking about how to thrive through midlife and menopause. So, Carolyn.
Absolutely. It is a challenge.
Yeah, I started this group because well, I'm very interested in empowering women, period. But, it became um apparent to me that there wasn't a lot of direct support out there for women going through this change, so where they could get good and reliable information, where they could have a safe network, and where they could you know, just come ask questions, have a few laughs, whatever. And I was really inspired by if I know Carolyn, you know who she is, Melanie Sanders and the I
Yes.
Don't Care Club. And if you're on Facebook at all or Instagram, you would have seen her because she's gone viral. And
Hysterical.
really, but she's really just talking about this big change and how life you just don't have the same energy to do all the stuff you did before and you can't really care. And I wanted this to be just a little bit more with some information about not just, like no more fucks, that's sassy, but like so how do we take good care of ourselves? And that's what I think the platform's doing. So yeah, that's what it's about. Um Carolyn, you
If
have
I talk
questions?
about my menopause journey, because I was thrust into menopause because of breast cancer.
Um
So this was 2013. I was
and you,
47 at the time, and it was
oh,
only found by chance. So I'm only here due to a very small chance. In my area, a very small area, they invited every woman between the age of 47 and 50, because mammograms start at 50 in the UK. They invited everyone between 47 and 50. So my neighbor was invited as well for a mammogram, just as a chance. Now, every woman in my family has had breast cancer. So I had been 3 or 4 times to my doctor saying, I want an early mammogram. And they would say, no, it doesn't start till 50. And I was refused. So
wow.
as soon as this letter dropped on my doormat saying, please come, it's a test, we're seeing if lowering the age can improve the results, the long-term diagnosis, survival rates, etc., etc., etc. So I said yes. I booked my appointment that day, went along, and lo and behold, they found something. So that was a shock, but it wasn't
I
a
imagine.
surprise. Because of everything that happened in my family. So I ended up having to have mastectomy, but I was lucky I was a candidate for immediate reconstruction. So huge operation. And in fact, Daniel, who you know, Diane, my husband, he was at the hospital on the day, and they had told us 6 to 8 hours because they took out my tummy, the fat from my tummy to put back into here once they removed all the breast tissue. So they have to extract veins at the same time to reattach the veins in here so that it's live tissue. And
Wow.
they couldn't. Supposedly, my stomach muscles were so strong they couldn't extract the veins.
Oh,
Now, I'll take that as a compliment. I didn't think so at the
yes.
time. Obviously had a lot of fat over the top of them for them to be able to reconstruct. But maybe underneath all that, the muscles were
Six
strong.
pack.
So yeah, that's how I got into the menopause because I went on to medication immediately after that, tamoxifen, and I went off the cliff into menopause and had raging hot flushes, like really, really bad. I'd be sitting a foot away from my husband on the sofa, and he would say, I can feel you from here, like a radiator. I was literally like a radiator. And then a friend of mine came to stay, and she said, how often are these hot flushes? I said, I've never thought to count. So she started timing them every 32 and a half minutes it was, day
Wow.
and night, 24 hours a day. And so I didn't sleep for years because as soon as you just get to drop off when one is finishing, another one is upon you.
And you
So yeah,
couldn't take
it was a
any of
disaster. But
the
it's got
hormones.
less as time's gone on. I went from tamoxifen on to letrozole. Is it letrozole after the 5 years? 5 years on letrozole. I had to have the stomach implant every month, Zoladex for I think 2 years. That was horrible. They're so painful. Um, so yeah, over time, the hot flushes have lessened, just gradually, gradually, gradually. They had me on various things to try and help the hot flushes, but really they were so bad, nothing really touched the surface. Now I'm off of all of those other things. They had me on oxybutynin, which is for bladder issues for older women, and that actually was the one that had worked the best. But then I found out it was linked with um, Alzheimer's, so I pulled myself off of that. It's like, what do you do? Anyway, it's not so bad now. They're much less intense. They're much less often, and I've just put myself onto Sage. I did try Sage way back when, but the hot flushes were so intense that it did
Wasn't
nothing.
enough.
But Sage now seems to be helping. So so that's my journey. So who wants to go next?
Well, my journey was, God, I don't even know how old I was. Late 40s, maybe 50. I started with the protracted perimenopause. And because I'm mostly recovered perfectionist, a type A, like burning the candle at both ends for the longest time, um, when it hit, it was like awful. Like in terms of night sweats so badly, and it wouldn't be all the time, right? Because then I'd get my period and then things would be nice. And then I'd go back into this thing. But hot flash is so bad that, you'd have to change your clothes, the sheets, the whole thing. Um, and I found through friends an integrative doctor, a woman doctor who specialized in bioidentical hormones, and she put me on a combination of testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. And it wasn't perfect, but I got my life back and my sanity back. And um, it's like, God, it's bad enough going through the all-night stuff when your kids are babies, but you know, when you're mature, your body doesn't care for it so much. And I was just so grateful that I had discovered this, but I also knew that n not a lot of people knew about this gal or about how you could use hormones. Traditional medicine was still saying, it's nothing you can do, and we're not going to put you on HRT because that increases the risk of breast cancer. But later research showed that not necessarily so for everybody. And traditional medicine doesn't use the bioidentical compounded stuff because it's not big pharma, it's little pharma. And and you also have to, I mean, now it's like kind of exploding and there's probably junk hormones out there that aren't, finely calibrated by a trusted certified pharmacy. Um, I was just on a mission to make sure that more women knew about that there's other options out there. Um, and I mean, part of the problem, I was just talking to Lori about this yesterday, is that for the longest time, traditional medicine just ignored women's issues, right? How long before they really admitted that postpartum depression, anxiety and psychosis could like paralyze a new mother? That took forever. And then about, PMS as it being a real thing, that some women have such severe hormone fluctuations that they become clinically depressed for that week, you know? And it's all in your head or whatever. You're just on the rag. All the ugly things they would used to say to us. Just have some chocolate, it'll all be better. Um, and there's just been so little information about women's issues, and we're finally getting to a period where that's that. And I saw, I don't know where, was it a commercial or some ad somewhere on that now, so now they have a, a medicine that helps you that isn't hormone, but helps you with hot flashes and night sweats. But then I'm worried now they're going to just, market all these pills. And and sure that'll make that better. But I want women to know part of the reason you're having symptoms of severity is because you've neglected yourself for your whole adult lifetime. And when the hormones shift and don't cover up all this stuff that's been going on, you realize just how bloody exhausted you are. Just how exhausted you are, and how you have given more of your life force away than you've received in return. And that perimenopause, menopause, even postmenopause is a time when you can finally focus on yourself, um, and as someone who deserves your own love and care and attention. And it's kind of wild that it takes that long, but cultural programming for us to be selfless givers runs, don't quote me, 6,000 years deep. How long has patriarchy been the primary cultural philosophy? I don't know. So, you know, even though we've had civil rights movement, women's movement, all these kinds of things, that programming is still very much in women. So now we say, yes, I can get an education, go out in the workforce, but we still, and other people still expect us to do all the things at home as well. So, we went from one job to two jobs, and we're going to suffer, right? And
True.
I heard just caught a little Facebook reel comedian, older woman saying, I was raised Catholic. We weren't allowed to like ourselves. And
Ouch.
then somebody said to me, well, that goes for all Protestant religions, and none of us were taught to like ourselves. You have to be Buddhist to learn how to like yourself, right? Compassion for all things, including yourself. And so this is an opportunity because of the discomfort of the menopausal symptoms to go, wait, hey, I need to take care of me. I need to do something different, right? I need to to really reflect first on my physical health, then on my psychological, emotional health, and then maybe like my dreams and my visions that I let go to raise a family and plug along in a career for years. It's a time to really kind of claim yourself and step back into your own, because by the time we hit this, the kids are either mostly grown or out of the house. So if you're a mom, then you have more space. You don't have the practical habit of taking care of yourself, but you do have the space and the time now to devote more to yourself. And that's what I love to teach women. Like, this is not just uncomfortable symptoms and word finding problems. These are a time for you to really tune into you. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I'm at the beginning right now. So I'm starting in all the hot flashes.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, so I'm just starting to, my friend group is amazing because we do talk about all of this. And I'm going to
Wonderful.
send them your link to get into the circle just because this is what we're talking about all the time. And as a therapist, this is what's coming up for a lot of my clients in this exact age group that I'm in,
Right.
of feeling crazy, possibly wanting to get in the marriage that they're in, that a lot of times that's what's happening. Um, Ultimately, that trend though of feeling like you're um, kind of trapped into this world you created, of like, not you created, but like that system of everybody's coming to me I'm the one that's doing all this, holding all the emotional stuff constantly. And then there is just like I need to get out. I need to get out of this. That's what I see quite often, of just like this is too much. This isn't possible or sustainable anymore.
And you do need to get out of it, not necessarily by leaving your marriage or
Right.
moving to a different country, although that's looking kind of attractive right now. Um, but by
That's another story
that's
for another day.
another topic for another
Yeah.
day.
Let's meet next week and talk about that. I'm in.
Um, but by seriously, going inward. And, you're not going to change everybody's expectations of you overnight, but you need to empower yourself so you can start setting boundaries. It's all about boundaries. We, they ask us for everything because we've let them. We've trained them to think we are the end all be all for all things. And we have to start setting boundaries. I mean, that's what Melanie, Sanders is great for. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care that there's no bread and milk in the fridge. You go past the same grocery store I do. Buy it,
Yeah.
you know? It's like starting to set these boundaries with others while also creating time to nourish and nurture ourselves. And like if you don't know how to do that or begin, getting some support from somebody that can help you on that journey, right? Because learning how to nourish ourselves, I hear so many women like, I take care of everybody and nobody takes care of me. And, I'm like, including yourself. And it's not somebody else's job to take care of you, actually. We try to take care of other people rather than, thinking that our job, but everybody's job is to take care of themselves, except when they're little people. We got to train them to be functional adults. But, no, I need to take care of me. And if I role model a healthy way of taking care of me, then I am teaching my loved ones and friends, good things, right? But it's so uncomfortable to start setting boundaries if you've been a yes or people pleaser your whole adult life, right? They're
Mhm.
gonna
Correct.
abandon me. They're not gonna love. No, they won't, because people say no to us all the time, and we don't die. So why would other people die if we say no to them? No is a common word in life, right?
So
And that's just our little girl fears, right? Because we were trained to be good girls since we were knee high to a grasshopper. Please people. Don't stand out. Don't be too outrageous. Please people, be a good girl. Make everybody happy. So now it's about learning how to make ourselves happy. And it's a journey, though. I mean, I can say that with ease, right? That doesn't mean I'm great at it all the time, or that women coming to it newly don't find it a very large struggle. It is a large struggle, right? Because you have to shift your whole self-identity as being the super giver to, a human being, the super doer to a human being, you know? A spiritual being having a human experience. Not everybody's everything. But I can tell you, because I made the journey myself, it's very rewarding to finally start putting yourself on the
So
top of
what
the
steps did you
list.
put in place, Diane, to make that happen for you?
Well, so getting on those hormones started the journey. I at the time I joined um because I'm a super achiever. So first I joined a group called Feminine Power, and then it was so transformative of me to look at life through the lens of the divine feminine and putting myself first, that I, signed up for the coaching course. So now I'm a feminine power coach. Um, and it put me around a a very large group of very talented um, women, smart, creative, funny, going through the same struggle. So it was like a sisterhood that I needed at the time. and really taking seriously my self-care in all ways, in terms of exercise, in terms of eating as clean as possible, in terms of working, oh, I already said that, exercise, meditation, making time for a quiet me time every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. So those are some of the things, and then because of who I am, by teaching, the more I taught these various skills, the more it became ingrained in me. So that was my journey.
I'm still not good at taking care of myself. I don't make enough time for myself. It happens when you run your own business and it's very, very busy. I'm on Zoom calls back to back every day. And then in the evening, I'm cooking and I'm catching up on work for the next day and what's happened that day
So,
and time runs away
Karen,
with you. So
darling,
you
you
don't,
need to put yourself on your schedule. That's it, right? You don't start your day with clients until you've had a few minutes of exercise and meditation, right? It's
yeah,
not about there's no time. You have to make time. I've been running my own business for 30 years, right? So you have to put you on the schedule,
yeah.
right?
Like every Wednesday evening, I go to an exercise class with friends. So that's on the schedule, and I know Wednesday evening is gone. I don't do any work Wednesday evening because that's what I'm doing. So I need to do that more.
More, absolutely. And just start with something that's doable, like 10 minutes of exercise or stretching in the morning and 5 minutes of meditation, something that you can do. And I always tell everybody, men or women in my practice, like if you're starting a new positive habit, tag on to one that's already well established, like getting yourself ready in the morning. Because if you say, I will do it later, you will not, or you will once in a blue moon. Because once you start your day, life gets away from you, right? You're going by what's happening in front of you. So you put it on your schedule in your getting ready in the morning, right? As a way to ground and center yourself to have a beautiful day. And we have to put ourselves on our schedule. There are always needy people who will take up our time. It will never stop, ever, 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 you know? So we need to put ourselves on the schedule.
Yeah,
And it's
that is,
hard.
I also own my own business. I have 20 therapists and 4 admin. And I
Wow.
just put into place with I have a lot like wonderful therapists that are like on my team, But I put into place, I'm not messaging anyone after 4 p.m. because I really don't need to. But I was getting in this trap of like, oh, I got to get back to people. And then at night I was doing it. And then I was realizing like it just wasn't really working because I have 4 kids. All of them pretty much get homework in our district. It's heavy on homework. I
Mm.
don't know why. It's not like that everywhere else. But I was realizing like I'm doing this and this and this, and it cannot continue. And so working with therapists, it's always a good thing because one of them called me out, go to bed, get off, when I slipped up.
Yeah.
So that really helped though, because it really isn't necessary for me to be doing that specific thing. So that helped
It
me
can
quite a
wait
bit.
till later or the next day, right?
Yes,
You
it
learn
really
that
could.
that when
Yeah.
you set that boundary and that you don't message anybody back, nobody died, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Yeah.
they all want that too.
True.
And I would encourage that for them. So I think too, like it at least was a pretty good setup because I would tell them, you're working too hard. So then I think that actually helped in the long run. I wish I would have been paying attention a little sooner to my side of things, but um, it is one of those things where I continuously will end up in that spot. So I gotta pause, revamp, and then try something new. Just because there's so many moving parts right now.
Absolutely. I'll tell you two big gifts I gave to myself. One, and this was even before perimenopause hit, I pay someone to deep clean my house every 2 weeks because I had kids, I had a practice, I had everything else on the plate, all the activities. I'm like, okay, I don't want to spend my weekend cleaning my house. I want to spend my weekend with my family. And two, it took me till my kids were in high school. And I finally trusted that they were fully capable of getting themselves up and out the door. That I'm like, why am I going to work at 8 o'clock? Why am I leaving for work as soon as they are on the bus? Right? I'm like, if I have early times, people will take them. But if I don't start till 10, nobody will die. And that's why I started. So I give myself a big space in the morning to do everything and anything I want from me. Right. And and it was like, okay, right. And I know that I'm working at least till 6 because I got to have 5 o'clocks because people have jobs. Um, yeah, but it just like, why did this never dawn onto me? I get to set I have business. I get to set my schedule. Oh, do you do early mornings? No, no, I don't. And I don't do weekends either, so don't ask. But
Yeah, I
when I
never
first
work the
started my
weekend.
practice, there were no boundaries, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I have done appointments on Saturday. Daniel works on a Saturday and on a Sunday morning as well. And he will occasionally say to me, "Oh, I've got this client. You need to see them. Can you do tomorrow?" And I'll be like, "Oh gosh, really?" But I try. I mean, I will no once in a blue moon, I will do an appointment. But generally, Saturday and Sunday is out for me because I work
Absolutely.
really hard during the week, and you need to have some time off.
You do.
Otherwise, you'd go crazy.
And I did.
So Diane, I
Thank
had
you
the
for
total
having me.
opposite. I
I
had the
don't.
total opposite. I just got to say it. I always started late for my whole life. It's why I became a therapist, is so that I could sleep in because well, you see me today. I slept until 9. Then when my kids got into middle school, their bus picks them up at 6 a.m. They have to be up at 5:30.
Really?
And
6 a.m.
yes.
Jeez.
And I will say the last couple years have been excruciating for me because I'm a night owl and I cannot get it together. I'm doing much better. I'm doing a lot better. But it is total reverse. I'm like, I dedicated my whole life to not waking up early. And now the kids though get it, sometimes they can just get on that bus by themselves.
They're
But
getting there. They're getting there. Yeah.
it's dark and even when they're older, they still get scared that it's dark downstairs. You know,
Oh,
it's like you're kind of all
but leave a
alone. I
light
get
on when
it.
you go to bed.
Yes. Yep. I'm going to break our own house rules. Keep the lights on at all
Yeah.
times.
Ah, yeah. Well,
So we haven't heard from, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Martha,
Martha.
Martha,
Martha.
I'm here to listen. I'm retired, been retired for 15 years, but recently left my husband and moved to a new community near my son, but meeting new people and starting over again. So I'm at a different point in my life. Um, but it's the focus on myself is the hard part because I've just put on I'm looking at it right now, loving kindness meditation. And I posted it under my TV. May I feel safe. May I feel peaceful. May I walk in the ways of love and light. May I know the true power of compassion and forgiveness. And I've never focused on myself like I am now. And it's so new that it's hard to know how to do it, but it's
Mhm.
very
well, proud of you for trying.
Yeah.
meaningful and
Yeah.
worthwhile. Yep.
Well, if
Mhm.
you've left your husband, that's a huge step.
Well,
So
it was.
that's
It was
brave right there.
many years in the coming, and I I'm glad I did it. We're still friends, but I needed to do it. And it's been a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after 42 years and 3 kids and 3 grandchildren, it was a major, and leaving the
Yeah.
community that I knew for 42 years was very, very tough. But
Oh,
so
I bet.
starting my new life.
Yep. And you showed up
Yeah.
here. So look at that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is huge. Those are a lot of things.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like your college, like being in college. You just went away for college, you left everything behind, went to a new place.
Yep. Starting
And
over.
then yeah.
Who do I
Yeah.
want to be when I grow up?
Yes.
At 71.
Exactly. Yeah. You can say
Talked about your
anything,
community
you know?
it was a shock to your community. They'll get over it. And your family, everyone. In a couple of years, people will be saying, "What? So what?"
My kids were proud of me.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I still have a very good relationship with my husband.
Yeah.
He's
That's awesome.
ex-husband.
Yeah. But that
That's
too,
good.
sometimes it's even with the care that you might have for that person, sometimes even the taking care of yourself can be so hard within a relationship too. Like sometimes that even just a separation of some space and time that we can actually take a look at what we really need. I think it is really hard in heterosexual couples where the patriarchy is so built into our system where we don't even know it half the time. And what I feel like anyway is what's happening. I'm alerting my husband right now constantly that, hey, do you realize how many times people are asking me specific information that there's no way I could know. I cannot know when when this is happening, that's happening, where are we going, for this many people at all times when I'm busy doing something, you know.
Yeah.
So we have a little chalkboard and I just say put it on there. Put it on that list. You know. You
Yeah.
want me to do that? Put it on the list, I'll get to it. Or not.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it
I don't
wasn't
care.
on my,
So that's
it
your
wasn't
list.
on,
Does your husband
Yeah.
also have a list?
Yes. Yes. I will say I'm very lucky as far as he is kind of like in some ways, right? He's like the neat freak. I'm not. But I also, Diane, have somebody coming in to clean because I'm not gonna do a great job at it in general.
No, my housekeeper loves cleaning. I'm like, God
Yeah,
bless people on this planet like you, because
yeah.
go at
And
it. Here,
and
have
I felt really weird for a while, like that it was, I don't know if I'm like classism or it felt really weird at first, I'll be honest. But the person that's coming says, I love it. And I love hearing that someone is so happy when they get home from work that their house is clean.
and you
And
are
I'm like,
employing someone, so it is
yeah,
they're doing what they
yeah,
want, and you are giving them income. So
Yeah.
yeah,
to me, it's
yeah,
the most beautiful win-win situation in
it
the whole.
is.
And I don't.
Yeah.
I started with a cleaner way, way back when I was pregnant with my first daughter. So that's 22 years ago. I had really bad sciatica with the pregnancy. And I had, I don't know what they call it, where your pubic bone separates, and I couldn't stand on one leg. Like in the shower to shave your legs or anything like that. You lift a leg and you feel like you're about to break in half. So anyway, that's when I started with a cleaner. So yeah, and it's a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Every woman should give that to herself.
Yes.
yeah.
Ladies,
Yeah.
we have gone for 40 minutes now, and this is so much fun, but I do have a client coming in a few minutes, so I do need to wrap this up. It was great to do this. I think maybe we should do this more often, and I'm trying to get it going. The community's still kind of small, but Lori, if you get some
Yeah.
people to come over
A lot
there,
of people.
we can have these very lively conversations and just support each other in this journey towards figuring out how to be loving and kind to ourselves.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies,
It's
thank you
been
so
great.
much.
I enjoyed it. Thank you, Diane.
Yes.
You.
Yes. Nice meeting you
Bye-bye.
all.
Bye,
Bye,
goodbye,
everyone.
and happy Halloween.